It is Sunday, October the 8th, 2017. Wrestleview Live number 22. We are reviewing WWE Hell in a Cell tonight. I'm Adam Martin, editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com. We ran into a technical glitch with our YouTube broadcast. Something strange was happening, so I decided to continue rolling audio, which was recording just fine. We trudged forward, basically, myself, Doug Lackey. So I will pick that up from where I'm speaking now, and you will hear the rest of the podcast that we did. Unfortunately, we did not do it live, so we didn't get feedback, but we did look at what some people had to say on Twitter, and of course our usual Twitter poll. So I will have my shit together 2 weeks from tonight for TLC on the 22nd of October, but for now this will be an audio-only version of Wrestleview Live number 22. So thank you for listening. We're restarting the podcast. I apologize for that, everybody. We had a technical glitch with the YouTube version as people watch us live. So if you're listening to this on the archive, you have no idea what happened, but that's okay. Basically, the way we started the show, the way we started the podcast, was Doug posed the question, and I'm hoping everybody can hear me fine. So, okay, perfect. Everyone got me. So you were proposing the idea that we went too long, not only with the show itself, but that other things on the show tonight, like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, went like 11 minutes. And I'm curious who timed the show tonight, because there's been this instance where now that we're on the network, we don't have traditional constraints, but they were just saying, like Peter Rosenberg, before they went live, he's like, if you still order these shows for $55, I encourage you to save the money and spend the $9.99. So they're still broadcasting the show out to traditional outlets, but this would have gone, what did it go? A half hour over the top of the third hour tonight?
Well beyond that.
Way beyond it.
Well beyond it. This went 45 minutes beyond it.
Yeah.
I mean, this was stupid. This whole show was stupid. You would have missed the entire main event. It is completely uncalled for, okay? And it's not just the length of the matches, okay? It's also entrances. Stuff is going on way too long, okay? This is really getting out of hand, okay? But I get back to the length of matches. There's no reason for Randy Orton Rusev to go longer than 10 minutes. There's no reason for Flair and Natalya to go longer than 12 minutes, and it did. Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler did not warrant longer than 10 minutes. Okay. None of those should have happened as long as they did. Usos New Day going over 20. Sure. We can get that. That is the climax of their big rivalry that's been going on for the past, 2-3 months. I can totally get that. Jinder, Shinsuke for their title match. Yes, that can go over 10 minutes. I think that went about 12. Okay. Baron Corbin, AJ Styles, Ty Dillinger, their little triple threat thingy almost went 20 minutes. That was uncalled for. That should have gone at least below 15. Okay. And this main event, yes, I understand the moments were great and everything. And, that might have capped off something for you, but fuck me. Really? Do we need to go 40 for that?
I don't think so.
Shane Undertaker went less than that. It's uncalled for. Okay, and again, don't get me wrong. There was, again, the Usos New Day match was fantastic. Okay, I would love to give this show a thumbs up because of that match and that being the reason that you would go back to the network and watch the show. But seriously, fuck this show. Fuck it.
Yeah,
no,
I was not
thumbs down, big down.
I was not a big fan of. Unfortunately tonight, Doug, we're gonna have to bail on the live stream on YouTube because I'm having a whole bunch of OBS issues. So sorry to people that want to listen to us live. I really apologize because I know that's the basis for this, but I'm gonna have to bail on it. So I'm gonna kill the stream right now. We'll have an audio recording of what we're talking about tonight. I'm really, really sorry. I don't know what happened on Open Broadcast Software, which is a software that I use, but we're gonna have to kill it. So sorry about that. So I'm going to kill the stream and then we'll just keep going tonight and talk about the show. And
This is what happens when you go on real late, you know.
it happens. I honestly, something happened with the software where it just completely it reset on me right before we went live tonight, and then it happened. But we got good audio, so we'll just keep rolling tape on the audio. Yeah, I echo your sentiments, and I think maybe why I feel so the length of the show was not great. That was troubling. Especially for a SmackDown show, kind of, and I hate to use the term throwaway show because these aren't really throwaway shows, but this month alone they're doing 2 shows, and they're beefing up the amount of these brand only shows, which I don't think is like necessarily a bad thing. I'm just concerned that if we're going to be doing this many, does it become? It was the problem the company had a few years ago. I'm trying to remember what the time frame was, but I want to say it was like 2005, 2006. I felt like 2006 is where I want to land that, because there was a time where, like, God, I think they had like 17, 18 shows, and it just got to the point where you were like, oh my God, another one. And I definitely, like, I heard from a couple people today, especially as I was just covering the show. And they were saying like, oh, there's a pay-per-view tonight. Had no idea that there was a pay-per-view tonight. And, you know, I've noticed in watching numbers, and I don't know if this is an accurate portrayal of how things are on other wrestling media sites, but the popularity of SmackDown clearly isn't the level of what it is on Raw. So, and I've seen that sometimes, like when we've done the post Raw show versus the post SmackDown show pay-per-views, I notice a little bit more interest in the Raw shows, which is funny because the open criticism is that Raw is a worse TV show than SmackDown, but yet more people still will watch Raw, or maybe they'll catch stuff on, you know, like YouTube or, you know, wherever else they can get a video clip. And it's weird though how that correlation exists, where there's that sentiment that SmackDown's not as good as Raw, but tonight felt like a little. I noticed, and again, maybe this is another bad a judge, but my timeline on Twitter was more active than it usually is for a SmackDown show. So maybe the Shane Kevin Owens feud thing maybe helped a little bit. I have to tell you though, I did not see that Sami Zayn thing coming, and that's why I'm reluctant to sit here and totally say, you know, like, fuck this show, it was bad. I'm reluctant to commit to that because of how they pulled that one off. Granted, they decided to execute that 30 minutes past a third hour, and I'm totally on board with you in criticizing that. Like, there's just no reason to time those matches out the way they did and lengthen this out. Because when the cage was lowering at 10:50 Eastern, I went, what is going on? Like, what are we doing? Like, if it was like Brock Lesnar, you know, having a match, or Goldberg, I'd be like, okay, well, this is going to go kind of short. It's kind of like what happened at No Mercy a couple weeks ago, where we just kind of went, oh, okay, they're just going to go short, which they didn't go super long, Brock and Braun, but I don't know. It was there's
a difference between, you know, there's going to be a slight overage to, you know, you have your main event to go. You look at your clock. It's 15 minutes till 11. And you're going, holy shit, they still got to lower the damn cage. And then they've got the entrances. Oh, my God, this is going to suck. Oh, and the problem is when it comes to what we do here doing the podcast reviews, and maybe other people that, you know, that's what we already have, that preconceived notion in our head. Oh my God, this is going to be horrible, of what I've got to do personally. You know, what's going on, you know, It's really hard to try to get rid of that bias. But the thing is, all of my gripes are logistic gripes. Okay. That's my biggest pet peeve of this whole show. Don't get me wrong. Creatively throwing Sami Zayn in there was a fabulous idea. It's just, it's hard for me to latch on to that when it's 35, 40 minutes after the show's supposed to be over.
Is the issue that it just kept dragging, and
yes.
Yeah. And then, like, by the time you finally saw the execution, you were like, well, okay, I guess, but it wasn't enough to keep you there. Essentially, was that the problem? It was just
right. It was not enough to keep me there. Not enough at all.
And when I felt that way too, like when they were like, do we have a count on how long the main event went? Because I'd be intrigued to find out how long.
I'm grabbing the quick snap numbers. I'll be honest, I usually go to Wikipedia when it comes to these.
Okay.
The match lengths right when it's from the get-go because
I think it went 39 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I've got here. The prelim right now is 39 minutes.
That's a long time. And then as I'm looking at some of the times as well, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler went almost 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Jinder and Shinsuke went a little over 12. Charlotte, Natalya went over a little 12. The triple threat for the U.S. title was almost 20 minutes. Randy Orton, Rusev, almost 12 minutes. And then the opening tag was 22. Wow, man. They poorly timed this one out,
it's totally uncalled for.
That's a rarity for them. And I don't know if that was intention. It must have been intentional unless something went longer than they expected. But you can also, as the show, like, honestly, I thought they were going to cut Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. I was like, well, they did an angle. They've done angles on TV to build that up. But I was like, they might just, because I could not believe the Hell in a Cell structure was lowering at 10:50. And it was amazing to me that was still happening at that point.
And they could have easily cut Roode Ziggler. That's not a problem,
They could have cut a lot of stuff. Well, I'm surprised unless that was their intention of we want Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon to go a solid 30 minutes, I guess, with entrances.
A solid half hour.
A solid half hour. Like they really, and granted, that was the main attraction. That was the top match on the show. Like I know the belt snobs want the WWE Championship match to be that, but the underlying holy shit, this is why you'd probably want to watch the show tonight was that match with the starting with Kevin Owens headbutting Vince McMahon a few weeks ago, which I thought was really, really well executed. Mm-hmm. The follow-ups they've been doing on television with Kevin Owens explaining why he had to do this and why he wasn't in the wrong was great. It's just 40 minutes almost. It's like,
well, look again. Shane McMahon Undertaker at WrestleMania 32 went only a hair above 30 minutes. Okay. I'm just putting this into perspective. All right. This was uncalled for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Severely uncalled for. Okay. Did they have to do all that dancing up on the top of the cell for that long a period of time?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Okay. That's one thing that could have been cut out from their match, or at least cut by a half. I mean, there's only so much, balancing act you can do with your footwork up there. Okay. Other things that could have been cut. I mean, the Roode Ziggler match in my mind should have been cut from the show. It should not have happened. Okay. Other things that could have changed a little bit. I understand making the AJ Styles title match a triple threat. I totally get that for storyline logistics sake, but that could have been trimmed down by a bit. Orton Rusev, there was no reason for that to go 11, nearly 12 minutes. That should have been only 5 or 6.
Honestly, I would have cut that match, to be really honest with you.
It was Randy Orton doing Randy Orton things.
Oh God, how and I know he complained recently on Edge and Christian's podcast about how he's not enjoying the babyface thing. You can see from a performer standpoint he's not into it at all whatsoever.
Yeah, and
God, man, it shows. It shows big time that he's not feeling it, and I don't. That's another guy where he's there doing stuff. I don't see how that character losing hurts him because he's been in this company for so long that losing to, and maybe it's butthurt on my part with how they've handled Rusev because I saw so much potential with this guy with the John Cena feud and having him work with like The Rock and then granted they're getting away from the old presentation of having Lana out there with him, so they're. But the Rusev Day stuff was great. I just don't know if he's going to be another Bray Wyatt guy where they give a bunch of TV time to, but they just don't really want to pull the trigger on him for whatever reason that is. And I'm not really sure why. And that's not me saying I think his career was ruined if he never gets that opportunity. But again, that's a dude who, shouldn't really be losing to Randy Orton right now. And Randy Orton winning doesn't really help him either. I mean, it's just another win for him then. So it's just, I don't know. I'm confused by the handling of Rusev. Now granted, he did get hurt. So, that's out of their control. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's an issue where they don't feel like running the ball with him because he's had some injuries that he's battled. But that's a match right there. Like when they were teasing that on SmackDown like a week or two, I was like, what? Like, why are we like the card already felt really stacked to begin with. And then tossing, Rude and Ziggler and Randy and Rusev in there. It's like, I don't know. I guess maybe the reason why we're having this conversation is that we're used to them doing real quick 6, 7, 8 minute TV matches, but some of those matches have commercials in them. Maybe because we didn't get commercial breaks, but I mean, looking at the numbers, we're not crazy. I mean, unless this is the first time from a visual standpoint, it became noticeable to us that these matches felt longer, but I don't think we're in the wrong here necessarily.
No. I mean, okay, let's go and take the last pay-per-view that we watched as an example, No Mercy. Okay. Let's go and precedents have been set. Okay, when it comes to these match lengths and everything.
Double check it.
Yeah, let's just double check this here, okay? No Mercy, and we're going to talk match lengths here, okay?
Okay.
You had your tag title match of Ambrose and Rollins versus Sheamus and Cesaro, where you had, Cesaro shoved 2 front teeth up into his, oral cavity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that lasted 15 minutes. 15 to 16 minutes is how long that match lasted. Okay, that's warranted. That's acceptable. Okay, but you had a fatal 5-way for the women's title that lasted less than 10. Okay, compare that to the match that we had here between Natalya and Charlotte that lasted 12. Okay, to me that's uncalled for.
Yeah.
Okay. Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt, take 2 this time, no makeup, lasting 11 and a half minutes, maybe. But the biggest thing is of all the matches that lasted the longest was Roman Reigns and John Cena, and that lasted 22. Okay?
Isn't it amazing how that match felt like just enough? And then we got nearly 40 minutes out of Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. I loved the ending, but yeah, there's no reason for that to be going. That's
none.
I'm fascinated at the decision making tonight at this. And I'm usually not this way with WWE programming. Like usually we're almost programmed to a degree to know okay, they'll do their, calm the crowd down a little bit, match before the main event.
We know a buffer match when a buffer match comes on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm curious, I think you mentioned it. How long did Shane and Undertaker go in their Hell in a Cell?
About just 5 or 6 seconds above a half hour.
Okay. God, I don't know what made them think that going almost 40 was necessary tonight. If they just really wanted to hammer but the thing is, the Sami Zayn thing was in the last 2 minutes. So I will say that came out of nowhere, and I really like that because the Sami Zayn stuff has been an interesting. I have a lot of conversations with people about him. Like people will ask me, and a lot of friends that are casual wrestling fans or people that reach out to me on social media, and they're like, tell me somebody that you really like right now that's like on SmackDown. And I always say Sami Zayn, and they go, what? Why? And I said, well, I just really like his babyface wrestling presentation. But even when they would press me on his character, I would say that, but yeah, but he's not really doing anything. And I was like, well, yeah, I know, but he's still a good hand, and that's kind of why I always went with him. But when people would say that to me, I would kind of start to think about it and go, well, maybe they're not wrong. And he had the big storyline on Raw where he begged to be moved over, and then eventually he was moved over. In the right after WrestleMania when they did the mix or whatever the fuck they called it, the extension,
the little shake up,
the
casserole or whatever.
Whatever they wanted to call it. And he's not. I mean, he was okay. He just main evented SmackDown like a week or two ago with Kevin Owens, but for the most part, he's not doing a lot. And there was a promo exchange that I immediately thought of when I saw him out there tonight, where Kevin was making all these his character was making all these points of like, you've technically been here longer than me, Sammy, but I've been, NXT champion.
I've done more than you have.
Yeah, he listed all the titles that he's won. And Sammy's like, yeah, I haven't done all that stuff, but at least I could, look at myself in the mirror. So they kind of almost were planting the seed right there, essentially, from the writing perspective, thinking like, yeah, there's just no way these dudes would ever. And maybe, come Tuesday night, that's the big surprise, was that even Kevin didn't know that he was going to do that. But then he finally, smartened up and said, maybe I got to start thinking about myself now. Because he's not really like, like he gets a reaction, but I don't see people like, kids walking around with Sami Zayn t-shirts on or anything like that. So,
no.
So it's someone you can kind of, they really do need stuff. See, I guess that's my struggle with tonight, was that, yes, the show was really, really long. Yes, the main event did not need to go 40 minutes. Yes, all these other matches didn't need to go 20 minutes and 12 minutes. And I totally agree. But that execution with Sami Zayn was really well done, that I'm almost willing to give them a pass on how long they went tonight because of it. Because going up into that, I thought it was a pretty underwhelming show, to be real honest with you. There was some good matches, but it dragged at times. The crowd, and I was just like, oh boy, this isn't going too well. Well,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I've been harping logistically about this. From a creative standpoint, this was a great show. Okay, especially when you're talking about Sami Zayn. They did a great amount of foreshadowing when it came to a sort of a self-actualization of his character. And it came into play here on the final match, and of course you could think, well, God, Owens could be thinking, I don't know what the heck he was thinking. I'm glad he was out there, and even Zayn had a look on his face like, oh God, what the heck did I do here? Why am I here? And that's great part on Zayn as a performer himself. I mean, I have been wondering what in the heck they were going to be doing with him, just because he hasn't been on TV all that much. And it's not like we were in fear that we were going to hear about endeavors or something like that. I was just wondering, like, okay, well, what are they doing with him? It's almost like how they were with Dillinger. Like, they made a big deal about him, and then they haven't brought him on TV. It was like they had to really assess themselves and do a lot of planning before bringing them into a forefront of some kind. And it all came into fruition on this show, which was, again, brilliantly written. Don't get me wrong, but holy hell, the logistical execution of it was piss poor. Okay. And it's not the performer's faults at all. Okay. This was not properly planned out, this show. Okay. Be thankful that you can watch this anytime you want on the WWE network now, and that you don't have to be forced. Well, not forced, but you are not given the time constraints of having to finish this hopefully before midnight.
Yeah.
Okay. Be thankful. Okay. It is worth watching again. Okay. But for me, no, I just couldn't. I can't watch the show again. I can't.
It's too long. It was too long.
It is way too long. By God, the Usos New Day. Oh my God.
Well, let's talk about that, because we might as well focus on the positives, and then we'll wrap up, because I know you have a very early morning. But
yeah.
I thought they did. I was intrigued by the creative uses of the weapons in that opener with New Day and Usos. So I thought that was good. I loved the corner trapping. I think it was Jay, or I can't remember which Uso it was, but they trapped him in the corner, putting the kendo sticks in the holes in the cell, and then just kind of keeping him there. I thought that was very creative.
Oh yeah, bringing out the handcuffs to kind of give Woods a caning. Let me see. Yeah, it's kind of fun to see them pulling out trombones and cymbals and cowbells and stuff like that. That was kind of fun. But I was really intrigued by this match from the get-go for the past 3 weeks, just because, holy hell, if you've been watching SmackDown, the Usos are fantastic on the microphone.
Really good.
Oh my Lord, have they man, you can tell that they have been working really, really hard on their delivery for the past 2 years. Ever since they had the face paint on and the bright colors and everything, but they never really talked much. But you can tell, man, they really put some work into their delivery as characters. Man, they are very good. And even building up into the match to where I was kind of, I want to say, feeling a little apprehensive about it near the end when, both of the teams start going, we put on the greatest matches, and when people see it, they're left in awe and everything. And in my mind, I'm like, stop whacking off. Could you stop jerking each other off? Just say you hate each other and you're getting in Hell in a Cell and you're going to finish this once and for all. That's all you needed to do.
Because this is it, right? Between these teams?
This is it.
Yeah.
This was the final. This was the resolution. You don't need to. There's no need to jerk each other off before you end this. Come on. I don't care how great a match you think you put on. Your characters in this fantasy realm, you hate each other. Okay? Simple. It's this damn honor respect crap. Okay? I don't care. Don't try to mix so much reality into this fantasy realm. Okay?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I didn't get that. But as far as the match goes, I just love how you had the contrast between New Day bringing in colorful weapons and a very sparkly Fruit Loop-like kendo stick. And then you have the Usos we're just bringing out handcuffs.
Yeah, which is great.
Okay. That was just a great storytelling between what these two teams were about. Okay. What's more is we haven't seen that. I like the decision of having Kofi on the outside. And so, gosh, when the Usos are beating up Woods and they just look at Kofi and go like, hey, take a look at this, Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
They got him pinned and they do the whole Rikishi hip check right into him in the front of the gates. Great camera work.
That was good. That was really good.
Great camera work on that stuff. This was the match that I would watch again. Okay, it was just beautifully, beautifully done. Sans the build up into it where like, oh man, we put on really good matches.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares what you think. We only care about why you hate each other.
And they did it inside a Hell in a Cell, so it wasn't really, that wasn't the purpose to begin with.
Oh no, not at all, no.
I was very surprised at how well Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura went tonight, because I think, if I recall, we were both a little underwhelmed with the SummerSlam match, where we didn't think it was terrible, but it was missing something.
Yeah.
And I liked the addition of the Singh brothers getting kicked out from ringside and planning that idea where you're like, oh shit, Nakamura might actually do this. Like, they're out. So I loved the tease of that. I thought that was really, really well executed, because that to me is where you bring people in when they think a match is going to go a certain way again, where it was going to be more interference by the Singh brothers. They get kicked out. You see what's happening in the ring, and you think, oh, he's going to actually do this tonight. He's actually going to win. And then we're not doing that yet. Which I don't know if I would really think now is the time for Nakamura, because as much as I do see potential, I do think there needs to be a little bit more time. But they also run the risk of, if you wait too long, by the time you do it, it may not be that special either. But
right.
They've built an aura around him, since Backlash, where here they always emphasize the striking on his part, and it comes out of nowhere, and he's really fast, and you don't know when it's going to happen, and the promo stuff. I don't know if you saw that stuff on Smack. I think we talked about it a little bit on the last show, but it's not that great. But I again, the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series, so I don't know if we're going to get another title match, because it's in many, many weeks, and the next pay-per-view is in 2 weeks for Raw. So I don't know if they're ready to move on from these two guys working together, but if they are, I'd be okay with that, because I thought what they did tonight was a lot better. I'm strictly judging that off of being underwhelmed by the SummerSlam match, though. So I don't know if you feel the same.
Well, I've got a feeling they're probably going to be moving on from this, just so that, Jinder technically won clean. I guess I'm looking at that. And also I'm looking at, from the basis of the Nakamura character, now is not the time. There's still I don't want to say work that needs to be done, but I still think there's some establishment that needs to be done. Granted, they do place a lot of emphasis on quick strikes and everything. They keep on saying what King of Strong Style, and I know what that is, but I don't know if everyone watching this that has never watched Nakamura know what that means. I still think there's a lot of defining that needs to be made with this character, and they need to figure out, do they concentrate on what we know of him now or what we knew of him then? And I think that's always been the biggest problem with bringing him into the company in the first place, was that they didn't really know how much of his history do we use to build the foundation of his character. And now it seems like, now that he's on the main roster, now we've basically given him this character of being the artist known as whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. We don't know. I don't know, except that he's a peculiar guy with weird facial expressions. So now that makes him an artist, I guess. I don't know. But it still seems like there's a lot of defining that needs to be done about this character.
Sure.
And so and now is not the time to
experiment.
Yeah, now is not the time to experiment. Still build from him. Okay. Maybe find different ways to put out promos, or doing different interviews, or maybe not even doing any of that at all. Maybe you just have him come out and he just punches someone in the face. Try to have him do as little talking as possible and more gesturing, because he's really good at the gesturing. So just have him do that instead. I think him and Rusev would make a great program.
That would be interesting.
That would be a great, fun program right there. Okay. Whether you're wanting to build up Rusev or Nakamura, it doesn't matter. It's still a win-win. Okay. Or maybe that's the time that you turn Orton heel and you have him go against Nakamura and they have a program. You could do that too. That's something where maybe Orton now finally feels like doing something fun or something.
I'll be, something, because he's just, like you said, man, Randy Orton doing Randy Orton things, and
yeah, he's just doing Randy Orton things, But as far as Nakamura goes, now is not the time.
No, I think it's felt a little too soon. And
when it comes to gender,
yeah.
You've got options. I mean, why not AJ?
Sure, why not? He's lost the title, the U.S. title, that is, and maybe he doesn't care, or maybe he's gonna try to get it back. I don't know, but yeah.
And right now he's your number one babyface right now.
Yeah, and I know at some point they're gonna stick AJ and Nakamura together. I don't know if they're gonna wait till WrestleMania, but yeah, AJ would be fun. Because he does need to keep working with more people. Jinder does.
Yes.
And it's just going to help the presentation more, and it's going to be better. And I know everyone's like, well, they're going to tour India in December, so of course he's not going to lose it. I know, but he's clearly, I'm fine with it. I know I've seen articles about what a failure he is as champion, but that's the internet picking and choosing who they think is cool, though, at the same time. So you can't.
And don't get me wrong, if Nakamura was ready right now, I would definitely have had Nakamura win the title. But then when that tour to India comes, you damn well know I'm having Jinder get that title back.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'd be great. That'd be a great visual. Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? Can you just imagine, just getting the crowd, just getting the shots of that on WWE camera, that Jinder wins back the title in his home country and that place going nuts.
That'd be cool.
Okay. That would be just fantastic stuff. But again, Nakamura's not ready, so it's okay.
Let's just cool down a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of, I don't have a lot to say about the triple threat. I don't have a lot to say. Natalya hitting Charlotte with a chair was kind of funny to cause the DQ, but I don't know. There's something I think I said it on the Facebook group. I do not like babyface Charlotte. I can't get into it. I don't know what it is, but I've tried, and I know they couldn't have her come out after everything happened with Ric Flair and be like, hey, go fuck yourselves, everybody. Like, I get it. Like, she can't do that, and you have to milk that a little bit, unfortunately, which is what they did. But I don't know, man. I just do not. I just don't like her on the mic as much when she's a babyface. I don't like her babyface offense. She has been dialing back the over-the-top crying stuff, which I think is good, because that was just nauseating after a while. But I don't like her as a babyface, so that's just me being a picky Pete.
Well, I mean, I've never bought her as one ever since the little stupid casserole shakeup thingy that they did.
The casserole
and they brought her
shakeup.
on to, and they brought her on to SmackDown because that's immediately what they put her as.
Yeah.
You know, they immediately put her as a babyface without even giving us any kind of a justification as to why she is.
Yeah, she was like high five with Becky Lynch, and I remember you were like, "Why? Wait, what?" And
yeah, just high fiving with her. It's like, yeah, you're my best friend, even though I kept on beating your ass every Monday.
It's the same thing with Sasha Banks and Bayley. Like, they're always in matches together, but they'll beat the shit out of each other. And then there's always that underlying tone where like Bayley will try to be nice to Sasha, and Sasha's like, "Yeah, whatever, go fuck yourself." And Bayley's like, "Oh, okay." And it's so weird. Like, they just maybe that's just us looking into it a little too detailed, and we just need to enjoy the ride. But at the same time, like when you're sitting there going like, well, "Wait a second," like if I have to pause and go, "Wait, hold on," that's not good. That's not a good move.
No. And I guess this is starting to become a little troubling to me when it comes to both women's divisions right now on both Raw and SmackDown is this whole revolution thingy and bringing all these new talents in and having, you know, what everyone has been clamoring for, actual wrestling, you know, and everything. Okay, you finally got it. Congratulations. Now it's time to establish some characters. It's time for us to finally have in women's divisions good people and bad people. You know, who is supposed to be booed, who is supposed to be cheered. They can't all be tweeners. Okay, you cannot have just a bunch of honor matches going on every single time. There's got to be someone to boo and there's got to be someone to cheer. There has to be conflict of some kind, okay? Whether it be personal, it has to be personal conflict. It can't be just professional conflict.
Sure.
It has to be personal, okay? With Charlotte as a prime example, to where she established a character on the Monday show. She was the heel. Everyone hated her. And you always knew that if it was Sunday, she was going to win, but if it was Monday, she was going to lose. But she was, you know, I'm better than all of you, you know, arrogant little bitch, you know, that's what she was, okay? But then she comes to SmackDown and pulls a complete 180. No, I'm just like all of you. I've got the last name Flair.
That's weird.
You know, I don't have these crystal dots on my forehead anymore. Love me now. You know, you can't make that switch without establishing why. Okay, just like how you've got Alexa Bliss, who has been a heel from the get-go. No switch. She's stayed that way. Nia Jax, I don't know what the hell she is. I don't know if I'm supposed to boo or cheer her. You have on SmackDown right now a bunch of tweeners. Natalya is supposed to be the heel now of that show, and I guess hitting Charlotte with a chair establishes that.
I liked it, but yeah, it was.
But at the same time, Charlotte still isn't a viable enough face to do that on.
No, not really. There's a lot of questions coming out of this. A lot is the tag team division, the women's division, and then, you know, now that Sami Zayn's a bad guy, I guess now, or maybe he's going to say, "Listen, I'm not really a bad guy. I just decided to look out for myself now." So does that make me a bad guy? I don't know. I guess, but
yeah,
that's I keep coming back to that. I don't know why. I just do, because like that is the most intriguing thing to me that came out of the show tonight. Like, there was some good matches, everybody worked hard, but like up until that. Like, up until Sammy pulled Kevin Owens off the table, I was like, wow, this is kind of a shit show tonight. Like, it just kind of dragged, and, you know, the matches were long. We've already talked about that, but they were long, and just the segments were...
I'm really sorry, but every single match, except for the Hell in a Cell matches, felt like buffer matches.
They really did. Like, this was... Like, this is why, and again, but though you cut a match, though, then one of these matches gets longer. So then it's like, oh no, but not necessarily, though, if they timed it differently, who knows? But I just keep coming back to the Sammy thing. Like, I just did not, like, we're so in tune with wrestling that for the most part, we can kind of see what's coming. And that is the one bad aspect of wrestling, is like, you can kind of see what's coming. So you're like, well, this isn't that fun to watch if you know what's happening. So that's why I keep coming back to that. Is that totally did not think, like, I saw a dude sitting out there. I'm like, oh, that guy kind of looks like Sami Zayn, but there's no way Sami Zayn pulled Kevin Owens off the table. And then when they go to ringside, I'm like, what the like, whoa, like, that was cool. I thought that was one of the last time I felt that way was when Triple H pedigreed Seth Rollins and helped Kevin Owens win the title. I didn't really see it coming. I thought maybe they would do it, but I was like, there's no way they're going to do that. They're not going with Kevin. It's too early. No way. And then when they did it, it was just refreshing. It felt cool. And unfortunately, we do not get that a lot from WWE programming these days. So I thought that was a cool move. Didn't see it coming. So,
and I was kind of like you. Is like, when it happened, right as it happened live, before they did the replays, I see the crashing through the table. I'm like, oh, okay, Owens moved. And then the announcers go like, what the hell just happened? And in my mind, like, oh, shut up. Owens moved. What are you trying to tell me? So they show the different angle, and here comes weird ginger-looking kid, pulling off. I'm like, oh, okay.
Ginger Sammy, yeah.
So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I love it when, we're thrown a curveball. That's the great thing about when you've been watching wrestling for so long and you think you've seen it all. It's great when you're surprised, and that's what we look for every single time.
Yep.
And sometimes it's through the storyline telling, like with Sami Zayn, or sometimes it's with the stuff in the ring, with all the stuff that happened with the Usos and New Day in their match. We weren't anticipating to see someone trapped inside kendo sticks inside Hell in a Cell. We weren't expecting that. I wasn't expecting 3 trombones, a cymbal, and a cowbell. But we were expecting it to be a really fun, violence for the sake of violence match, but every other match that happened was all paint by numbers.
Yep.
Okay. And I guess that's what I'm kind of trying to get at, is that's why all of the others felt like buffer matches, is because we could sense the DQ finishes coming.
Mm-hmm.
We could sense Baron pushing off AJ Styles to win his match,
which was cool. I liked that finish. I will tell you that was cool. Him just throwing a big fucking knee at Styles, and then took
the knee at Styles. Styles didn't get out of the ropes the first time around, but that second time, where you just saw Styles' look on his face, and Corbin just gave him like a 300-foot off the cliff.
Yeah.
Out of the ring. Yeah. Brilliant. Cool. But we saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Orton doing Randy Orton things in a Randy Orton match. Yep, that's what he does. Jinder winning, and the Singh brothers getting kicked out of the ring, but Jinder coming out on top. You knew when the finish was coming when he hit his move. That's that. And then Charlotte getting bashed in with a chair. DQ finish.
Yeah.
But those are all things that we have seen before. Okay, there's nothing new from any of that stuff, and there's nothing that based any of that stuff to last as long as it did. Notice how I didn't even mention Rude and Ziggler.
Yeah, because there was a lot of sleeper holds. Holds. By the way, I forgot to mention this with you. Do you think it's intentional or just a fuck up when they know the stipulation of a match going into it, but because they're so used to the rules of a pro wrestling match, they get caught up in the moment? And I'm talking about when Shane did his coast to coast and right in the face of Kevin Owens with the garbage can, and goes for the pinfall, and Kevin Owens, I think he grabs the bottom rope or puts his foot on the bottom rope, one of the two.
Yeah.
And they stop the pinfall. But it was a false count anywhere match, because earlier in the match, he was put in a triangle submission by Shane, and he had to literally pull himself out from underneath the ropes to break free, because even if he fell to the ground and the submission was still on, they had to still count it. But then during the pinfall, they do the rope break. And it was funny hearing specifically Corey Graves. He goes, you know what? I think they just got caught up in the moment, and the referee just kind of screwed up and he made a mistake, but they had to just, because immediately after that moment, it was Shane going for the bolt cutters, trying to open the door to try to climb up the cell. But was that do you think that was intentional, or are they just
that's an F up.
Okay.
That's an F up. That Owens should have just kicked out, is what he was supposed to have done.
But he grabbed the rope, yeah.
But he grabbed the ropes instead. Okay, that's his F up, and then the ref had to coincide with it. No, okay, there's no 3 count, but man, did we screw the pooch on this one. There's a difference between that and Braun and Roman's ambulance match, to where Braun, just went for the cover, but then stopped and got up.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, Braun effed up. But that's where you go, well, no, they're caught up in the moment. That's what they always do after he does the power slam. That's what he does.
Just happens that way.
It just happens that way. And it's the ref's job to not do anything so that the other guy looks like, dude, what are you doing?
Just happens.
Yeah.
So poll question was on Twitter, as usual, twitter.com/Wrestleview. 75% of people giving the show a thumbs up as of the recording that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So pretty overwhelmingly positive response. I was expecting that to be a little bit more mixed with how I felt the show was dragging up until that main event, but maybe I was pleasantly surprised by the feedback here.
Well, that or maybe some people just don't have responsibilities.
That too. You never know. It's October. Who knows? Maybe people are watching baseball or NFL or whatever. So, well, we'll get out of here. I know this is a little shorter than what we usually do, but I had some technical issues with our YouTube feed, and we'll try to get our shit together for the next one because we got another show in 2 weeks. It's the TLC show. Only stuff we know for sure announced for that is the debut of Asuka and then Mickie James versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. So that's all that's been confirmed so far. But they are teasing a Shield reunion, so I think we're going to get that probably at the pay-per-view.
Wow, if we get that at the pay-per-view, what the hell else are we going to have? Jeez.
Well, up until there, we'll have Survivor Series November, and then I'm not sure what's following it. I think, are they doing Clash of Champions? I can't remember.
Yes, there is a Clash of Champions.
Is there Clash of Champions? Let me just check here before we close.
PPV schedule.
PPVs. I always see the CBS one that always comes up first. It says to be announced on the 17th of December, but I heard Clash of Champions, but I don't know if they've officially confirmed it yet. So technically,
Clash of Champions sounds about right.
Technically, we have 1, 2, 3 shows left for the rest of the year. So yeah, we'll make it. We'll get there.
Okay, well, I feel a little better now.
Although there is that Bound for Glory show on the 5th of November, which
I have no idea what.
Yeah, you're not. Doug's his phone turned off that day, but yeah, I'm still trying to determine if I want to do a show afterwards, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I'm just looking to see how many have we had this year?
Quite a bit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people like hearing me count. 13, 14. Well, here's the weird thing is that it's actually been 16 pay-per-views. It has not been a weird number.
Wait, 16 up to this point or 16 total?
No, 16 all through this year.
Okay.
I think it's either 16 or 17. I mean, it's not like, oh God, it's 22 pay-per-views.
But that's an extra 4 shows though than we were getting, because for a while there they were sticking to the 12 shows a year format, which I loved. And then now that they decided to bump up with the brand extension,
so
again,
they went back to the 0506 level.
Well, the 06 level, I'll check here before we close, but I'm pretty confident there was a point there were 18 pay-per-views. I want to say there was close to 20, but maybe I'm full of shit. Let me go by year here. So 2006, it was the year of the horrible December to Dismember pay-per-view. Yeah, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There were 16. Wow, I'm full of shit. It felt like more than that though, but that 16's a lot though. That's a lot. And that was before, this was pre-network era. This is, you're paying $50, $55, $60 a show. That's a lot.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Although that was around there was a brand split happening at that point, but still, I'm talking pre-network though. But
I guess what's also drawing us is you're looking at watching 3 pay-per-views in the span of 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
That's a lot. It's a bit much.
That's a lot to ask for. It's so much easier for us to do a pay-per-view every 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That sounds almost monthly.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to have 3 occurrences during the year of 2 pay-per-views in one calendar month.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah, because then you get angry, grumpy Doug like me because you plan on having a 40-minute long main event.
I kind of like angry, grumpy Doug sometimes.
Oh, God.
Maybe we'll try to figure out the next time he'll show up. That'll be.
You want angry or grumpy or Doug? We can talk about the announcement that they're doing War Games at NXT.
Oh, I don't even care. I know there's WCW. Like seriously, I'm not even joking.
Wow.
I don't.
Wow,
care.
That was level of hey Doug TNA. Oh God, I don't care. Hey Adam NXT. Oh God, I don't care.
I just don't care. Like if you're pumped for the War Games, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah, for me, I'm just like, why?
What's more annoying about it was Cody Rhodes always having to chime in on Twitter about it. I'm just like, as if I didn't care already. Now I got to read Cody Rhodes on my timeline weighing in about, it's just.
Here's the thing. Anytime I see Cody Rhodes replying about anything, that just tells me that, Ryback wasn't over and they couldn't play video games today.
I guess.
I mean, seriously.
I don't know. There was a lot of excitement about that. I was like, oh, okay. It's just no interest.
Yeah, I saw that and everyone having a cow. And all I'm thinking of is just, creatively in my mind, I'm like, why are you doing it?
I mean, if you're going to do
it, you've got two stables in in that company right
now.
That's the only reason I can think of.
They got the new Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly stable, and then they got Sanity, and then they have, other people. So
other people, well, there you go.
It's just those two teams, I think, right? I don't remember.
Yeah, that's all they have are just two stables, and they haven't had a match against each other, and you're going to immediately put this on them?
It's nostalgia. People love it.
Wow, way to water down a gimmick there. Jesus
Maybe I'll
Christ.
be pleasantly surprised by it, but I was not, wanting to go light fireworks off in my backyard when I heard the announcement. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna go play games.
I'm just like, I'm
gonna go play PUBG. Have fun, everybody. I'm just like, okay.
I'm just gonna go pop some caps here. You guys go ahead.
No, thanks. All right, well, Douglas, we will be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully, I'll have my shit together with YouTube.
Hopefully, I'll have some sleep.
I guess I'm just going to upload an audio version of this to YouTube so we can keep content going on YouTube. But I don't know if that would be silly since we'll have the SoundCloud and iTunes version, but I'll figure it out. So
we'll just do that.
We'll make it work. So sorry about that. Sorry you had to listen. Maybe people didn't want to look at us anyway, so maybe it worked out for the better. I don't know. We'll see.
Believe me, I didn't take a shower, so don't worry about it.
There you go. Everybody lucked out then. Okay, we will talk to you guys again in 2 weeks, and gals, if there's any. 2 weeks from tonight, the 22nd of October, that is the TLC show with the debut of Asuka. So we'll see how that goes. Asuka. They're not calling it. It's usually tables, ladders, and chairs, but it's just TLC, right? I think that's all we're calling it.
Yeah, I think they're just doing TLC now.
Okay, just TLC. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a TLC, no Scrubs edition.
That'll be a break before Survivor Series in November. So there you go.
Oh, thank God.
Have a little bit of a break. And then before you know it's going to be the holidays. It's already October. So it's creeping up on us.
All the holidays are coming up. And yeah, we got to start buying gifts for people.
And we have to plan a Christmas show as well, since last year's blew up in my face as well because my other technology didn't work. So it's
that's right. Your board blew up.
It literally just like malfunctioned as we were live. It was so embarrassing. But
well, that reminds me too. I'm getting a new board here soon in the next few weeks. So
Merry Christmas to Douglas.
So no PUBG headset for me.
Exactly. Gotta get them chicken dinners. All right. We will talk to everybody in 2 weeks, and we'll be back on YouTube. I promise I'll test it and make it look all nice and fancy and pretty, everybody. So follow Doug on Twitter at Doug Wrestleview. I am at Adam Wrestleview on the Twitter, Wrestleview Radio on YouTube, and then search Wrestleview Media on SoundCloud or iTunes for the podcast version. So till then, enjoy yourselves. Be safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye. 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 We'll talk